I mean, I don't have a family, and I definitely don't have faith. So I get
Definitely not part of the solution.
maybe I am.
Here's the thing.
In this episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, things got heated, fast. Bill Maher locked horns with Dr. Phil in a no-holds-barred debate over whether family and religion can still save America. Dr. Phil made his case clear. Faith and family aren't just relics, they're the bedrock of any stable society. Maher, playing the secular cynic, pushed back, arguing that deeper, systemic fixes are needed beyond old-school values. But then Dr. Phil dropped the hammer, calling out Maher for ignoring the role faith and family play in real-life resilience. The crowd felt it. That moment exploded online. Maher brought sarcasm. Dr. Phil brought substance. And by the end, it was clear, Maher hosted the show, but Dr. Phil owned the room. If you're into bold debates that actually hit a nerve, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more coming your way.
What I think we disagree a lot on is that you think family and faith are a big fix to the problems we have. I mean, I don't have a family, and I definitely don't have faith. So I get
Definitely not part of the solution.
maybe I am.
Here's the thing. I'm just saying that you come from a family.
I come from one, true.
So don't tell me you don't have a family.
Well, they're all gone now except my sister, yes. But
you got a
okay,
sister.
but I didn't start a new family, is what I'm saying. And I'm an atheist, so I don't have religion. And I think the country's moving in my direction, by the way. More people than ever are single, and more people than ever don't have a religion. Now, you may think that's a bad thing and why we're going to hell in a handcart, but maybe it's also part of the solution. And it's certainly just where people want to be.
Dr. Phil's reaction wasn't just about Bill Maher. It was about everything Maher represents. To many, Maher's worldview feels smug and disconnected, blind to how global forces shape Western narratives through media and culture. Yet Maher continues to treat his opinion as sacred, confusing popularity with wisdom.dr. Phil's expression said it all, equal parts disbelief and restraint. You could almost hear him thinking, "Do you even hear yourself?" That moment landed hard with viewers who are tired of being talked down to by elites who dismiss tradition as ignorance. Online, the response was overwhelming. Dr. Phil wasn't just speaking for himself, he became the voice of the eye-roll heard around the country.
I mean, when you say religion is the fix to this,
I didn't say
have you
that.
seen the Middle East?
I didn't say that.
Well, yeah, you did in the book.
No, I did not.
What do you say about family and faith, not the fix?
I said that for the first time in our country's history, membership in an organized religion has dropped below 50%. Now, here's why that's a problem, because that was one of the reasons that families got together at least once a week and spent quality time together. The reason it's dropped below 50% is because the reason they usually joined the church was because they wanted to have their children christened or baptized or whatever the ceremony was in that particular church. And our birth rate has dropped to 1.6. We need 2.1 in order to sustain the infrastructure that we have. So we need immigrants. We just need to know who they are.
Very reasonable position.
I'm very pro-immigration, as are you, right?
Here's the truth that's hard for some to hear. Immigration isn't the issue. Broken systems are. Conservatives aren't panicking about people coming in. They're fed up with how poorly the process works. It's about vetting, structure, and enforcement. Not fear, not hate. So when Bill Maher dismisses that nuance with a smirk, it's infuriating. It's like watching someone miss the point on purpose. He paints border control as some outdated talking point, when really, it's just common sense. This isn't about being anti-immigrant, it's about being pro-reality. And when Maher skips over that, it's not thought-provoking, it's brain-melting.
Yeah, absolutely, and your position that you just said, very reasonable, and a political position. A political stance. But you did say in the book that the less religion we have, the more divorce and cohabitation become acceptable. And why shouldn't they be? Why shouldn't divorce and cohabitation? You sound like the Alabama Supreme Court.
No.
Why shouldn't that be acceptable? It's 2024 to just cohabitate without marriage.
Well, let me answer.
Okay.
The problem is, if you have a child and you have a non-biological male in the home, the incidence of sexual molestation and or abuse for that child goes up as much as 33 times normal. It goes up, depending on what kind of abuse you're talking about, it goes up 6 times normal, 10 times normal, all up and down the continuum. That doesn't happen if there's a biological parent in the home.
But
no, wait a minute, you can't.
That's a cohabitation. You're conflating two things. You can cohabitate with someone and have children. I mean, the marriage rate in, I think, Sweden is very, very low. They live together as man and wife, but they just don't get married and they have children. That's a biological father in the home. They just don't.
They don't fill out paperwork.
Cohabitation, yeah.
You're saying they don't fill out paperwork.
Correct.
But that's not what happens in a lot of situations that create this problem with a male being inside the home that is not biologically connected to the children. And that is a big issue, Bill. You can't write that off.
Bill Maher has built his brand on edgy comedy and cultural commentary, but lately, that mix is wearing thin. Critics say he's no longer challenging the system, he's defending it. And in this debate, Dr. Phil came in swinging with a counterpoint. Tradition still matters. Family, faith, discipline, these aren't punchlines. They're anchors. What we saw wasn't just a disagreement, it was a collision of worldviews. Maher leaned into smug modernism. Dr. Phil leaned into timeless structure. And that tension exposed a deeper truth. Maybe we haven't outgrown traditional values, maybe we've just abandoned them too soon. This debate was more than a soundbite, it was a signal flare. Ignore the foundations, and don't be surprised when the roof caves in. Stay tuned. We've got more coming that'll make you think twice.